What's up guys, Tim here with Tidewater Outdoors, and today's video is going to be the second video in the series of us restoring a throwback bait. Now if you didn't see the first video, I basically prepped it for paint. Took a couple of weeks off because I've been pretty busy with other real life things, but now we're back, and in case you didn't remember, this is the bait that we are working with. So you can see it's just about the size of my palm, right? It's a pretty big bait. So in today's video, we're going to be doing the base coat prep and paint today, which is basically me spraying with white paint and then me spraying with a pearlescent paint. Not the final video, that'll be the next one that comes out. However, you'll be able to see kind of what it's going to look like by the end of it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so to get started, right, the first thing we have to do is make sure that the parts of the bait that we don't want painted don't get painted. Now when I say that, I mean more specifically the lip and then all of these line leads coming off of it. So the line lead and then the hook leads down here. We don't want those painted. It looks like part of it was painted in the past. However, I don't want to contribute to it. I think they look more professional if they're, you know, the stainless steel color and shine that they were when they were installed. So in order for me to get around that, what I will typically do is I will use painter's tape on the actual lip, and then for the eyelets I actually use hot glue. So I'll be hot gluing anything, like any of the metal parts together, so just the three leads basically, and then we'll be taping off the rest of it. So stay tuned. Focus. Alright, now that we have our lip completely taped off, it's going to have to stay like that until we actually get onto the clear coat. So a lot of times it's not that big of a deal if you get some of the paint on the actual lip. However, I want it to look as professional as I can, and since we're not replacing the lip, the customer specifically said he didn't want to replace it. I want to make sure we don't get any paint on it. So my hot glue gun is all warmed up. It's actually dripping right now all over my metal table. It's a metal table, it's not that big of a deal. So we are going to move on to hot gluing all of these eyelets. So let's do it. Alright, so now that we have our hook and line leads all glued up, the last thing I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier for myself while I'm painting, I have this little hobby stand, and what I can do is hook my clip. Actually, I'm going to have to cut that, but I can hook the clip, this clip, to the lip, and typically I would take another clip to one of the hook or eye leads, but since I have them glued and they're kind of fragile almost, what I'm actually going to do is put some hot glue on the end of this, and then I'm going to stick it into the tail. That way I have a more sturdy canvas, if you will, to paint it. I'm not too worried about, you know, getting glue or damaging the inside of the tail where the actual tail is going to get glued in, because it's going to get glued in anyways. So not really a huge deal, but I think it's going to be the best way for me to manage it while I'm painting it. So we're going to do that now. All right, so we have our lure up on the stand now. You can see, I'll pull it back. It's quite the contraption, but I think this is kind of the best way for me to go about painting this lure specifically, especially if you look, I have to get inside those nooks and crannies on both sides. So I also don't want the paint touching while it's drying. And this is going to be pretty much the best way for me to accomplish what I'm trying to with it. So now that we have it strung up, basically all that's left to do is do the base coat. Like I said before, we're going to start with, I have the colors right here. Basically just plain old white. I'll typically use this on almost any lure I do, especially if we're going to do bright or pastel colors. A white base just helps those colors pop a little bit better. And to even further make those colors pop, I have Pearl White, which is just white. However, once I shake this up, I'll see if you guys can't tell. Maybe you can see it on camera, maybe you can't, but it's exactly what it says. It's pearlescent, and that's going to make the colors that I put over it look incredible. So we're going to be using grays, whites, blues, greens, browns, blacks, pinks, a lot of colors. So I want all the colors to make sure, I basically want them all to blend perfectly and to also pop at the same time. And when you have so many different colors at once, it's easy for colors to get lost. So I think that's going to be our best bet. Now all that's left to do is actually get painting. So let's get painting. Well, it's done, but not even close. Like, seriously, I probably have like 6 or 7 more hours on this lure, but we're starting, right? The paint's on, there's some paint on, and I'm excited. Here it is. I highly doubt that you can actually see the pearlescent on this lure now. I'll use my phone and see if I can get a better shot of it with my phone, and I'll go ahead and throw it up on screen right now. But in person, it looks incredible. The amount of depth that a pearlescent coat actually gives a lure is incredible, and it's one of the reasons why I always use it as a base coat for bigger, more realistic baits. So, you know, fish excrete bodily fluids, right? They're slimy, they're kind of gross, which makes them shiny. And doing this as a base coat absolutely 100% helps it. Now, it's tough when you're spraying white pearlescent over white because you have no idea until it starts to get shiny if you put enough paint on it. But luckily, this pearlescent paint that I use, it doesn't really gum up too much, and it doesn't spread a whole lot as you're spraying. So it was pretty easy, especially because I have a new shop light installed up top. Makes it super easy to see the pearlescent. So unfortunately, that is all I have time for today. In the next video, we will be using a canvas to actually start designing what the fish is going to look like. So I'm really excited. I've got a bunch of pictures up of rainbow trout already saved, and we're going to go ham with it. So I know this video is kind of boring. It's just me painting white. However, this is a really super important step in making sure that the final product looks great. So I had to post it. So that's going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have comments, questions, concerns, put them down in the comments section. And if you like the video, actually like it then. I have no subscribers and almost no viewership, so any bit of interaction with the video would help. I'm trying to make the title as clickbaity as I can in hopes that I fool the YouTube algorithm. But really, I appreciate anybody who watches, anybody who takes time out of their day to actually look at what I'm doing and appreciate it, or even if they hate it, whatever. I still was able to impact their life. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.